Hello, I'm William Michael, the headmaster of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, and as we get ready to start the fall term next Monday on September 12th, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to parents and students and offer some advice for how they can have a successful school year in the academy. Um, One of the biggest challenges that students face in our program is that there's just so much to study that it can feel overwhelming. And so the first bit of advice that I would like to give to parents and students is to make sure you have a schedule for studies with time dedicated to each important subject area, and that you have some kind of a planner where you make a list of tasks that you'd like to get done over the course of a week, and you can track progress and have something short term to look at and focus on each week. Like I said, there's so much to study. Courses can just start to feel like oceans for students because some of our courses have hundreds of lessons that take multiple years to complete. The way to handle this is to have week by week short-term planners with task lists for students to focus on. And I'd recommend establishing a schedule and using a task planner for the kids to work through each week. In tutoring sessions, I work with kids and provide that kind of um, task management and planning for the kids, but parents who don't have kids in tutoring can do that themselves to a degree. And if you'd like to have a consultation meeting, I can help you to understand how to do that. So that's the first thing. Give the kids short-term goals with task lists to work on. All right. The second thing is when it comes to assignments. Um, Assignment scoring is very simple. Students usually get one of three scores. It's either 100% when everything looks good, a 75 where it's good but there's some stuff to clean up, or no score where um, they've got to deal with a number of problems in their assignment. Students are always welcome to resubmit work, so even if an assignment doesn't go well the first try, students should just get back at it, review the lesson, try again, and resubmit. So that's not a problem. But that's too slow to be a method for getting through lessons. Parents and students have to learn to submit work where they expect a 100% on the first try. It's fine to submit work, get one or two wrong, and have to clean things up. That's fine. But to submit work multiple times every lesson, the student's just not going to make sufficient progress. So what I recommend is that parents make it a policy that students not submit assignments until a parent has a chance to preview it and make sure that some basic things are taken care of. I don't ask parents to evaluate the quality of the content of the answers. That's my job. But what parents can do is look for a few simple things to avoid having their children waste a lot of time. First of all, parents can check to make sure that all of the questions in the assignment have been answered. That's a very simple thing parents can check, and many times students have work sent back because they simply didn't answer all the questions. Parents can prevent that. Secondly, make sure the students answer all of the questions in complete sentences. It should be very clear from the answer what the question was, and parents can help make sure of that. If I see students submitting assignments where answers are not written in complete sentences, which is in the instructions, I simply return it to the student to be redone. They have to answer questions in complete sentences. So parents can check to make sure that that's been done. Another thing is parents can make sure that the students are learning to proofread and correct their own writing before they submit it to anyone else. This is one of the good habits that our English composition course teaches students, and kids have to learn that every time they write something, they have an opportunity to practice good English composition. They need to read their answers out loud to themselves, make corrections to their answers, make sure everything is clear, and then submit answers that they're sure are worthy of a high score. So learning to self-correct and proofread, the students should make sure that they're doing that anytime that they submit an assignment. So that's another thing. So parents can just make sure that the students have followed the instructions, answered all the questions, written with complete sentences, proofread their work, things like that. Those are simple things that parents can check and make sure that their children are not going to be hindered by. So that's a recommendation that I have for parents, and students can learn to do that all themselves. So parents, you should be teaching your children that they need to do this, not that they should depend on you and just sort of throw stuff at you for you to correct, but they should understand the standards and the requirements and do them themselves. So you can enforce that and teach that as a parent. And again, every student has the opportunity in the academy to have 100% scores. They simply have to do the work with quality, and if they get a couple wrong, go back, review the lesson, redo the assignment, and submit it again until they have 100%. So that's a very important advantage that academy students have over other schools. Parents need to make sure the kids take advantage of that. As far as completing the assignments, the easiest way to do it is for the kids to simply copy all the questions and then paste them in the answer response form, and then type in their answers and submit it. So it's very easy. Just copy and paste, copy the questions, paste them, enter your answers, complete the lessons. Make sure you save your work. So what I always tell my kids is copy all of your answers before you hit submit. Take a minute and just copy everything. Control C on your keyboard. Copy it, then hit submit, because if there's any interruption and your work doesn't go through, you can just paste it back in and resubmit it. So just be careful, but copy the questions and then answer them in the answer forms, in the assignment forms. Make sure you copy all your work before you hit submit, and then if there's any problem, you should be able to just paste it back in and resubmit it. So just be careful. But it's pretty easy working with assignments. Now, as far as students needing help with their assignments, when they get feedback from me, if they have tutoring sessions, make sure the kids raise those questions and issues during our tutoring meeting. So if a student has a couple wrong on an assignment or is struggling with assignments, make sure that the student asks about that during our tutoring session, and we'll talk about it. If you're a parent who doesn't have tutoring sessions arranged for a student, simply communicate with us by email. Let us know what the problem is, and we'll be happy to help. But in the academy, we're concerned with teaching children to be students, not just helping students get grades. So teaching students to learn, to take responsibility for their work, to take initiative, to seek help when they need it, that's part of what it takes to be a good student. And students have to learn how to do that. So when there's a problem, students have to learn to seek help. That's what it means to be a good student. The word student means one who seeks, one who is seeking. And I'm always going to force students to act like that. We're not going to baby the children. We're going to teach them to take responsibility for their studies, to ask for help. And when they ask for help, we're going to give it. But we're not going to give them help unless they ask for it. In the same way that God normally doesn't help us unless we ask for it, unless we pray. In the same way, I'm going to make the students learn to prove that they are students seeking learning, and they're going to need to take initiative and ask for help. When they do ask for help, I'll help them until midnight. I don't care about that, but they have to take the initiative and ask for help. The same is true of quizzes and tests online. The kids can take those quizzes, and when they get a score, that's not a final score. They can go back to their lesson, review and study, and retake those quizzes until they've got perfect scores in all of their assignments, in all of their quizzes and tests, in all of their courses. There's never an excuse to not have perfect scores. And when students are getting through high school, their grade point average on their high school transcript is completely in their control in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. They have all year round to work and raise their scores, and whatever their final scores are, that's what we can put on their transcript. It's in their control, and there's no other school that allows students to do that. So it's an advantage that kids need to take, that they need to make use of and not waste that advantage. So I just wanted to make those things clear as we get back to school this year. Things I think are set for a great school year. We've got lots of new students, lots of high quality students coming in. And I'd like to also encourage parents and students to consider trying to connect kids together. If you see kids in a course that you're studying, if you see other kids in a course that your child is studying, try to get in touch and see if connections might be made and kids can work together. That may be helpful for the kids to have a study partner that they can work with online and communicate with. I'll activate the message system so they can communicate with each other. I can also make chat rooms available in the study center. If any parents would like for me to do that, I'd be happy to do it, as long as we work together to try to provide some supervision, make sure our kids are watched and accountable when they're online. But we've got a lot of tools, and if there's an ability for the kids to begin working together, that can be really good for them. And if parents are willing to help me to supervise those things, I'd be happy to make that available. So it'd be good for us to try to allow study groups and study partners to develop to help the kids get through their lessons together with some companionship. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope that everyone gets off to a good start for this school year. The fall term, remember, runs until the week or so before Christmas. We'll take a couple days off for Thanksgiving break in the U.S., but other than that, it's a pretty solid 3 or 4 months of study, and we'll get started on Monday, September 12th, and wrap up usually the Friday a full week before Christmas. So I don't know exactly what the date is, but if you take Christmas Day, wherever it is, remove the whole week before Christmas week, take that all off because that's recess, and go to the previous Friday. That's when the fall term will end. And then usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of Thanksgiving week. Other than that, we're pretty much in session for the fall term. So I wish you all a successful fall term of studies. I'll be praying for you daily at daily Mass and in my daily prayers. And like I said, I'm willing to help as much as I can all day, every day, but students have to learn to ask for help when they need it. So God give you all a great fall term. Please let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything we need to get worked out before the term begins. God bless you all.